The music you're listening to is by The Tangent, a band of which I'm a member, and it's the very first track ever released by us on our first album back in 2003. And since then we've released another 10 on top of that, plus a couple of lives and various fan club releases. And one of the things that they all have in common is epic tracks. Now, it's not actually us who calls them epic. That's usually a kind of derogatory term that comes from the press. Really, when you consider that what they're calling epics are usually about 10 minutes shorter than an episode of Friends, we're not really talking about La Recherche de Temps Perdu or Gotterdammerung or anything. Nonetheless, they take quite a bit of writing and putting together, a lot of planning and organisation, and are very popular with the fans of progressive rock music. And I thought it might be nice to put a little series of films together showing how I write one and how one is put together. And this doesn't reflect in any way how other people will do it, and will all have a completely different way, even if their music is stylistically similar to mine. I have my way of doing it and they have theirs, so don't take this as any kind of this is how it should be done. This is how I do it. Hope you enjoy it.
Amazing.
Hi. Right, so here I am in my recording environment, which is a small room at the end of the house. It's a spare bedroom of sorts, and this in fact is the room where I've composed Auto-Reconnaissance, the album by The Tangent, and it was a room very similar to this one back in the old house where I recorded Proxy on the same equipment. And I'm not here to talk about the actual recording of the albums at the moment. This is, as I say, it's about the composition of how I actually go about writing a piece, and I thought it might be really interesting to start right at the beginning, before I've actually got anything ready, to actually show you how it all happens. Excuse me, I do smoke, and it will make life a little bit easier if I can do that. So, essentially, obviously this is my main writing keyboard, and it's my piano and everything, but it's connected up to the computer. This device, I don't know, it hasn't made a sound in years because the computer is what makes all the sounds. But I'm always very, very keen to try to make sure that everything on the Tangent record or anything I do is actually played by a musician rather than programmed. So it's all there. So obviously, this is a system I've built up over years with you know, a very straightforward piano system, which but of course I've developed it so that I can get a bit more out of it by having different sounds in different parts of the keyboard and everything. So you get stuff where I can play bass and piano together. And in here there's a bit of cymbal on the top of that, which I've built in, and if I hit it a bit harder I get a bit of bass drum. And if I play at certain parts of the keyboard, I don't get keys at all. I get, that's all go. And of course, it was on some time like this that sorry about keeping on knocking the microphone. I wrote songs on here, like for example on the Jinxed in Jersey song, which was on Auto-Reconnaissance, started off on this particular system, which I used for writing more jazzier pieces on this particular set of parameters.
The concierge to help me
find the best way to walk to the Statue of Liberty.
And as I'm doing those things, I've got a lot of very useful tools available to me, like particularly the looper, which is something that I first saw. Well, I first saw John Martin do it many, many years ago, but then I saw Matt Stevens do it at the festival in London. I thought, right, that's for me, you know, so I can actually try things out and try things over the top of them. So, you know, if I were to, example, play something really, really simple, like just this. Think to myself, well, I'd like some kind of little beat over that. Add this to it. And then I can start thinking about putting some other sounds into it. Get the idea. Okay, keep on building that up and just trying things out and seeing what works over the top of what. So where am I? I'm going to write a piece of music which is, according to the brief of the questions I've been asked so much, is how do you write a long piece of music with lots of different sections in it, and how do you tie them all together? And I'm going to start that today by actually starting at the beginning. And what I'm going to write, what I know I'm going to write, is it's a piece. I think it's going to be an instrumental. Fairly certain it's going to be an instrumental, and it's going to be a piece of music that's that fits in with the Tangents, kind of Dr. Livingston, I presume, and the Andalusian Skies. I've temporarily forgotten the title of it. Yes, the Melting Andalusian Skies, which was on the Proxy album, and of course, the Jinxed in Jersey was also going to be one of these, but it ended up with lyrics on. So I've got no idea at any point whether we're going to end up with lyrics, but they're not intended for this piece. And I'm also going to start from a known point as well, because you know, I mean, like in rock music, we haven't quite really reached a point where we've kind of let go of the need to be continually original. You know, if I write a sequel, people go, "Oh, he's run out of ideas," or anything like that. But I don't think that's necessarily it. And what I'm actually going to do now is write what classical musicians once upon a time would have called variations. You know, Paganini's famous variations and the Enigma variations by Elgar are well-known examples of where somebody starts with an idea and then almost like goes back to a kind of quantum set of possibilities that could have happened from the original moment, the original spark, and where it could have gone in a different way. So it's in my way, it's not variations. It's where could that idea have gone if I hadn't taken it in this direction? So, in this case, I'm wanting to do something with a sequence I never felt had been fully exploited, and that was the chorus of the song GPS Culture that we did many years ago, which had this chorus, if I can remember it, which went, let me just find a piano. Yeah. When I look around, we feel tired, uninspired by all we have to choose. And it had become a song, and so of course, by the time it was finished, it sounded more like, when I look around, I'm tired, uninspired. At some point, whilst I was writing that, which is 14 years ago now, I seem to remember that I had a little bit, it was sounding a little bit different, and I thought to myself, well, I'll take that further in a different song later on, which of course is what I'm doing now. And I think that the chords had slightly changed and were sounding more like this. Rather than it was a different set of chords slightly, but it was a. That's GPS, and what I'm working on at the moment is just that. And I remember thinking, am I going to go for that one, or am I going to go for the back at the time? But of course, I went with the second one. Because it happened to fit in better with the other part of the song, which was this whole thing that I had going at the time, because that went really nicely into the. So really, in that song, the actual sort of like main meat was the, and on this one, I actually want it to be the. Yeah, it's almost like Born in the US. No, it isn't. It's well, okay. It's the. I mean, like, for goodness' sake, they're just notes next to one another, and there's only 12. So, and you know, we're all variations on one another, really. Right. Okay. So, what I'll do is I'll just play about with that riff and see how it goes. And of course, the thing is that, you know, this is not exactly going to be beautiful music for you guys to listen to. I'm going to make an awful lot of bum notes and. Stop, start, you know, and you'll be, you know, it's difficult to kind of get the rhythm, but, you know, if you are interested, and that's who I'm making this video for, if you're interested, well, we'll hopefully see something coming out of it. I've got no idea, because at this point, I've got no idea whether we're going to get a piece or not, whether it's just going to be a load of failings, in which case you'll never get to see it anyway. So there is this kind of sort of like weird thing. Sorry. Okay, I'll get started. So. To change and probably go up, because I like doing that. No, it needs to go. Yeah. I've forgotten that. Let me just try that again. that was GPS. Sorry. Yes. Let's just see if we can kind of loop that round, and this will probably go terribly wrong, but we'll just see. Anyway, you get the idea. Oh, sorry, yeah. Here we go. Definitely that. Yeah, that's the one. I've got to be very careful not to put that. See, I don't know what all these, you know, like my friends Luke and Jonas and quite a lot of other people in this industry from well, they all know what these chords are called. I don't at all. I never learnt music theory at all, so it's all a bit bonkers for me. I'm sure this has a name, this chord. I mean, let me see if I can work out what it is. It's got an A in the bass, and this is a G, an A, and a D. And that's not it's not an A, because that would have that in it. It's not an A minor, because it's got some kind of name like a diminished or an augmented or something like that. As far as I'm concerned, it's one of these, as opposed to one of these and one of these, on one of those, or one of one of these. I don't know what they are. I've just kind of heard them and sort of like being able to find them, really. And so I just use that limited thing, which is, you know, I guess this is why I've never really gone as far as calling myself a jazz musician, because, like, you know, jazz musicians tend to you know, really know their stuff. And you know, I mean, Jonas could just look at that and he'd just say, oh yeah, this is an augmented B4955, and you know, and I just go, okay. Luke knows what they all are, and they know all about these modes and everything. And I'm picking things up. You know, I'm not in any way dissing what they're saying. They've got this fantastic knowledge, and I kind of struggle to keep up with them a lot of the time. So in the end, they seem to understand my music and be able to contribute to it in a brilliant way. So I'm presuming that whatever gets cooked up out of this, if I end up showing you, it probably means that it's on its way, and we're going to get something out of it. So let's just hope that is the case. It's you never know. I think that's what we're going to work with to get started. Rhythmically, I don't know, but I have got this idea. I'll come to that a bit later on. So I think we'll leave it for the time being whilst I got that, and then I'll come up. Of course, there's going to be a lot more ideas in it than just this. And what I will do is, you know, you probably wouldn't want to see it, but I'll probably just sit here for an hour recording, because you know, I've got all the hard disk space in the world. I'll just sit here recording for an hour, and just some ideas will come. I mean, I'm not just going to sit here going like that. I might do something else completely different in a different sort of kind of scale, and hopefully tie it all together. But wherever I go, I'll probably kind of keep on trying to keep the thing appearing in and out of the piece, along with other bits that are right subsequently, which might end up coming back over the top of this one. You see, like, I might write another bit which, for argument's sake, might go, etc., which is not by me at all. But, like, for example, let's say that I wanted to take that theme, which I theoretically write in 2 weeks' time. I might try to find a way of getting to fit over you know, and of course you can do it with anything, really. So you can kind of backdate it. It's like painting a picture. You don't actually sort of like just paint the Mona Lisa. You go and touch it up and sort of change it and everything like that, and decide that you're going to put this beautiful valley stretching away into the distance instead of the brick walls you were standing against in the first place, you know, and you add bits, and you know, the reflections in your eyes might be of different things than they were to start with. You're continually changing things, and that riff, the riff I've just played, I think it is gonna, I think I've got this kind of idea that's going about where it's going to go and everything, and it will be important, will that riff. But there have been occasions where the riff I've started off with has not even appeared in the piece, you know, and that's entirely possible. So that's part one, and as the weeks and months go by, let's see how this develops. Okay, thanks for watching.